YouTubers, this is Cindy from Oak Ridge Homestead, and today we're going to do some some red onions and vinegared red onions. Comes from the Ball Preserving book on page 316. If you wanted to follow along or do some on your own, they are really tasty with tacos and a little bit of hamburgers. And my onions are those that you probably saw on our previous video. They come from Azure. They're all organic. And I'm using Azure red wine vinegar and the apple cider vinegar. Both come from Azure. They're both organic. I did half and half so that I could have enough to get me two groupings of it. We are also using the German Weck jars with reusable gaskets. They're kind of in between a half pint and a pint, so you have to adjust your jars accordingly. And I'm also going to be using my steam canner for the first time, or actually the second time. Take me back. So I guess we will get ready and start doing some. Now I did go ahead and use my mandolin and chop up my onions, and then I went to clean my mandolin and chopped up my finger. And I've already got my vinegar in here and it's boiling. So now I'm just going to add the onions in here. I'm just going to grab big handfuls because I'm not going to be able to fit them in. They say 10 cups, and I am just going to grab a handful. I'll grab about 6 of those big handfuls. That's 6 right now. Never know about my mind if I got 6 or 7. We'll find out. Stir that in a little bit and let them kind of get softened in that vinegar, and makes putting them in the jars a whole lot easier. Bear with us. Guess I could have brought the camera over and you could see me stirring. Well, my director said no. All right. And while this is kind of cooking down, I'll put that on here. A little bit. I've got my gaskets in some warm water, soaking just to make them a little bit more pliable. Jars have already been cleaned and sterilized. And the little difference from the recipe is I'm going to add a little bit of crushed chili peppers to them. Just add a little pizzazz to those onions. My daughter likes it hot. My son too. Vinegar. I feel like it's Easter egg hunting days. Just a little bit longer. And we'll have these in here. I really like these Weck jars because these little gaskets will last probably the rest of my lifetime. Maybe not my daughter's, but mine, definitely. Don't have to keep buying rings and lids. Or they do have replacements if you need them. They'll replace the glass lids. You got these extras. You got the little clamps too. It takes 2 clamps for water bath canning, and 3 clamps if you're doing any pressure canning with them. So I think supposed to be about 5 minutes, and we're getting close. Crank the speed up. Get these guys softened up. And those a little further away. have any questions, please post your questions on at the bottom, and we'll get back with you. If you have any doubts, also make sure you push the like button and subscribe so you can see our future shows. We're going to be doing caramelized onions next. Get rid of all these extra onions we have, and lots of other future things. We're going to make a couple batches of mustard, and of course in the springtime I have home picked blackberries and fruits. So yeah, make sure you subscribe and you won't miss anything. My Azure order delivery is coming right up, and we'll be doing that real shortly, providing we don't get snowed in that time of year. And of course the day that's set for picking up is the day that is supposed to snow. Oh, joy. I think we're about 5 minutes in. So I'm going to go ahead and start packing. Get my little funnel there. This over here. Put my canner up there and let that kind of get to warming up. I've already filled it up with water. You fill it up just to where it's level with the little plate under there. And I also put a little penny down in there so I can hear it jingle. It's kind of like when you're pressure cooking and you're listening for that little jingle of the pressure gauge. I can listen to that little penny jingle and know that it's boiling and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Little tip. And then go some onions. I'm going to stuff these onions in here. We intend to do several different types. We're going to put pepper flakes in this one, and then we'll be doing one with just the peppercorns. Probably use up some of those these onions. Maybe too much. I'm going to have to squish that out. You want to pack them in there pretty good. Maybe not quite that good. Number 2. Pretty good. Put some fluid in there. Pop that off. Okay. Number 2 here. Yesterday I tried to do 6 of them and I ended up with 4. So we'll see how many I end up with this batch. And make sure you get all the bubbles out. I use my little tiny gourmet fork. Pack these guys in there. Put some of that liquid in here. Chop it off to about, I believe it says a 1/2 inch. Just like to make sure that I have it all completely covered with the liquid. daughter says, let's just tap it. So we did my way and her way. Tap and poke. Get it all in there. Looks like I have enough of it. Let's see how many onions I got in here. Oh, good amount. Add some liquid. And that one's ready. A little bit more on this will be fine. See, fit in there. Squash them all in. Just about got it. I think they're going to be just fine. Drop of some liquid. Get my hammer going. And then you water bath these. The steam canner works just like a water bath. You steam for 10 minutes or 15 depending on your elevation. Just like you would a regular water bath canner. It works the same. And just top it off. There you go. Looks about right. Okay. Set this aside. Set the jars aside. Pull off a. This is the only thing that's a little different is you take your little gasket. You seat it in here. It has a little lip, and you just seat it on top. And then you center it on here, however you want. And take the next one, and seat that one. And it'll seat right in there. Put that one on there. I was able to get 4 out of that mound of onions I put in that pot. Once you get those all on, then you put on the clamps. So you don't have to worry about tightening it too tight, tightening it not tight enough. The clamps do the trick. They're either on or they're not on, and you'll soon find out. You want to make sure there's no crimps in your little gaskets, so everything's smooth on there. And you just snap these little clamps on without making a mess. And there you go. Into my steamer. Just beginning to get up to speed. And then just like the regular jars, when you take them out and you let them sit for a bit, overnight, then instead of taking off the rings, you'll take off the clamps. And then you'll test them, make sure that they're well sealed, and then put them on the shelf. If they're not sealed, then of course they go in my refrigerator and get eaten the next day. I love these little jars. These are just really nice. They're pretty. Okay, in the can there they go. I've got it on high, so I'll bring it on up to steam. There's a little gauge up here. Tells you where it's at. Mostly I just listen for that. And then once the temperature is stable, I just adjust the heat and let it bring up to a boil. It'll take about 10 minutes to get up there, and then I'll process for 10 minutes, and then I'll let it turn off for another 10 minutes. And this is what they come out to look like. And you can tell they're good and sealed. You can also tell by the little tab is pointing down and not pointing up. That's your telltale sign. And then you always double test it. That's pretty much it for vinegared onions. Make sure you push those buttons, like and subscribe, and we'll see you around the next video.